Hey guys, I'm super excited. We've got Nick Kremer from Driven Leads back, but today we want to focus on the evolution of online lead generation here in 2023 and what's happening right now with seller online lead generation. What do we need to know about what's available to not only the mega agents today, but also some of the good agents who are newer to the business, but kicking some butt and have a few bucks to spend and are trying to find opportunities for more sellers.
Yeah, so it started. So we started doing this about 15 years ago, and when we had people say, "Can we get listing leads?" I'd tell them no. And then about 8 years ago is when we started seeing the prime seller leads, the home value leads. Real Geeks had a seller program. Sierra's got a seller lead valuation. Boomtown, they all have it now, right? So then we started running those into Google and into Microsoft or Bing, whatever you want to call it. So the evolution sort of started at 8 years ago, where we were able to generate those leads, but then we had a problem. Nobody knew how to talk to them. So the biggest issue we saw with our agents is, I would guess about 80% of them were like, this isn't working. And then we had 20% that were extremely successful, and kind of dug into that and asked, what's the difference? And like I just said this before we started recording, Patrick, is, you still bake a cake the same way. You start with the same ingredients. It's just how you progress through that, and what little things are you adding to make your cake better than your neighbor's cake, right? Maybe making your business better than the next. And it has a lot to do with the delivery, being more of a listener than a talker. When you're talking to the leads, when you're talking to people that are doing seller leads, they have a lot of questions, right? People that are looking for homes to buy, they know how many bedrooms they want, what neighborhood they want to kind of be in. The seller people have a lot of questions. So being that person that they can talk to is a big thing that we've seen at that first part of evolution. As we've moved towards 2023 and through.
Yeah, I can put a stamp on that really fast. So what we saw, because even my brother was working with a geographic farm, which had a home seller program with a direct mail program, and we had a lot of thousands of agents on that program. I personally generated a couple hundred of these kind of home. Would you like to learn more about the value of your home leads? And during that window of time, I think what you're basically alluding to is when we called and said, "Are you ready to sell your home?" And we kind of came in with an aggressive, "Are you ready to sell now?" script, it completely fell apart. Or when we awkwardly, brought over and delivered this, elaborate CMA presentation, and they didn't really ask for it, and we kind of over delivered. Those two things kind of blew it up, and it got a negative response. And then, what happens when everybody starts saying, "Well, that didn't work, that didn't work, that didn't work." But really, yeah, what you're saying is a small percentage of the agent population kind of mastered the communication and the conversion process, while the rest of the 80% of the agents who tried it out, it totally bombed. And so that's kind of what my experience was of the last, that like 2015 to 2019 window of time, right, when this was really, really hot. So, tell me a little bit more about kind of what else you're seeing now, after all of this experience, kind of what is the working and
so
today.
As we moved into the 2015 to 2019, it was an inventory problem where everybody wanted, we need to get listings. So the agent that was really being successful in listings through that evolution was listening, answering questions, and then, educating and enlightening people. The person that really knocks it out of the park now, as we move from 2020 to 2023, is the person that's educating people that they've never spoken to, right? Educating people that have never filled out a form on their site, that have never engaged with them, been to their office. And where that demarc is there's one caveat: they've been to their site, they've never signed up, or you have them in your database, but that lead might be 8 to 10 years old. Now you can take all that stuff and start to do your remarketing and retargeting. And what we talk about, and you can even do stuff that we call traffic hijacking, which is legal, but going after traffic on YouTube with videos, educating people on, hey, I think you're looking to possibly buy or sell a house right now. Here's the top things to look for in your market today, May of 2023, and being up to date, because the market has done such a massive shift in the last 3 to 5 years, right? That everything has changed.
I think everybody that follows my YouTube channel will absolutely love what you just said, which is kind of what I've been hearing, which is, hey, if we become better educators and do education marketing, and then we use, Nick Kremer and the Driven Leads to do retargeting using your high education and to retarget the leads in your database, but also doing retargeting with specific traffic. That's going to be a massive win for us. Not only in the short term with, kind of newer cold leads, but also over the long term, kind of revitalize or reinvigorating old dead leads, and also increasing conversion on the leads that just when they signed up, they weren't ready, right?
Yeah. And that content can be seen on YouTube, can be seen on TikTok, it can be seen on Instagram and Facebook, and that video can be all the same, and you can show that to the same person. So there's a couple of values that come out of that, right? They start to see you everywhere. So the perceived value is that's extremely expensive when it's not. I mean, you could run all of that for less than $2,000 a month. And if you're trying to run a business, like, again, we sort of talked about this off the recording, but what if it cost you $1,400 per listing that you picked up, and you're picking up 2 listings a month, and it's costing you under $2,500 to do all that? Is it worth your while? The answer is always going to be yes, right? Because it's
100%.
Yeah, because you're not only just picking up those listings, you're enlightening an audience that could reach 60,000 people, and you're doing that, and your perceived value is people are going to start to know, like, and trust you. If you're successful in what you do right now, it's because of you. It's not because of somebody else in your office that helped you promote that. Like, if you're doing this on your own, then you should be on a screen. You should be talking intelligently, answering the same questions you answer every day. One to many is what we call it. It's getting that video out once and sending it to many people. And you can send it in emails. We tell people, do that email drip campaign still, send that out to, into your YouTube channel. But then at the same time, we're sending that drip through and doing that. It's kind of like, and this is something that Patrick has talked about for years, is the YouTube drip campaign, right? It's much more valuable than the email one because the open rate is 100%. Unless they're doing a premium account with YouTube, which is few and far between, they're seeing your video and you can get in front of them regardless of what they're going to consume. But that really warms them up to, if you start to do that email and say, hey, if you're looking to list, here's the 3 things you need to do first. Listers have, like homeowners have options is a video that we've had some people do, which is great because it enlightens them on, I can sell for cash, I can fix and then sell, or I can sell as is and list it, right? What's the positives and negatives to all of that? And nowadays, pretty much every agent and broker is going to be able to facilitate that all 3 of those operations, right? Helping walk somebody through that. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, the option script for sellers. Funny is I learned that script back in the notice of default days in 2010 and 11. It was a very simple script, right? It was, hey, would you like to review your options? And that booked a ton of appointments with the coldest, most difficult lead in the downturn. And then as we kind of scaled through, that decade of 10 to 20, review your options. Really, most of the time, people just wanted to maximize, sales price. But, was that lipstick? Was that as is? Or was that a full remodel? But still, cash sales were still happening. And so once I kind of learned to, hey, let's just review your options. Do you want a cash offer? Do you want to sell as is? Do you want me to kind of help you put some lipstick on a pig? Or do you want me to help you remodel it to maximize sales price? And those are the options today. That's just honest. And the problem is too many agents are approaching it like there's only one option. Do 50,000 things to fix the home up and declutter it and destage it and paint it and do all the stuff so that they can get the maximum price. And not everybody's interested in that.
Right.
So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I think, can we touch on, how you're doing the different variations of the omnipresence that you're doing? I think one of the key distinctions between, a Nick Kremer and the, 50 other companies who are offering pay-per-click services is, I think most people don't understand this is, I could set up a pay-per-click ad right now with Ad Manager based upon what I know. And it's not that complicated to do one ad or a couple ads for someone. And I could spend your $1,000 and most people will charge you, a percentage fee, right? I'll charge you 25% and you spend 2,000, and I take 500 of that. Right. And literally I could set up the same ad that most of those guys would set up. And I'm a novice. I'm not even that good. So I don't think most people understand the difference between the nuanced details that, the highest quality of, advertising solutions like a Nick Kremer and Driven Leads. Like, how does that work? Right. Like, what are agents' expectations on, the different ways that I'm going to get exposure through, hiring you guys versus some of these just kind of flat fee kind of just, hey, yeah, we'll get you some pay-per-click leads and maybe we'll get you some Facebook leads. You know what I mean? Like, what's the difference? How do you articulate that?
Yeah, that has a lot to do with the evolution that we spoke of earlier. Is back in the day, we would say, we'll generate you 100 leads and we're just going to purely do Google PPC. It may take 1,000 visitors to your website to get you 100 leads, but here's your 100 leads. Dial for dollars, dial till your fingers bleed, and call, right? That evolution now has come into that omnipresence that you talk about. It's connecting that circle of life on the digital landscape, and honestly, it extends even further than that now too. And I'll go into that as well. But essentially, you're going in and you're doing your Google PPC or your Microsoft Bing, but then you're taking those audiences and you're taking time out to connect with those audiences. you might still get 100 people to sign up, but those 900 that didn't still raise their hand. The intent's still there. They still are looking for a home for sale. Whether or not it's 30 days or it's 18 months, that's started, right? So the way we view it is we're going to start to get in front of them with that remarketing, retargeting. We're going to get in front of them with content. Again, a lot of times we didn't do content. And what we'll do is we'll help. The biggest hurdle that we hear from agents and brokers, and I'm sure Patrick, you hear this as well, is I don't have a problem creating a video, but I can't edit it. Well, we'll edit it. We've gotten to the point now, we have an editor. We'll edit those videos to get you started and to get that flow going because the value of that is so great for our clients and for us to be able to complete that cycle and
yeah. So to articulate that, in my mind, it's, we run the ads and 1,000 people, click the link to the ad, but only 100 of them follow through to a forced registration.
Yep.
Give you a name.
Yep. Become a lead. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, a lead, right? And some of those are, of course, guys, not everybody's going to put the right phone number in and the right email.
Yep.
So you will have those, and that's part for the course, right? But it's the other 900 that can be now retargeted because they express an interest. And then also the other 100 that signed up, let's get in front of them also more online as well. And I think everybody's had that experience where, I went on Amazon and I clicked on, some Adidas soccer shoes, and then I went away, and then all of a sudden I see Adidas soccer shoes, online in front of me all the time, right? And so that's that retargeting experience. It's like I already expressed an interest, and now I'm going to see that interest for the next probably 30 days, and then with the hopes of me to follow through with that and to complete the registration process of the interest, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the mindset really is to strike while the iron's hot, but then also plant that seed, right? They have that old adage that back in the day, like you could take a fake person's name, do a mailing, a big mailing campaign into a specific zip code, and if you polled everybody, the newest, most popular real estate agent is going to be that guy that gets that postcard out, right? And he doesn't exist. There's truth to that when you're talking video as well, right? You can get in front of people for like 3 to 5 cents a view on YouTube. So you're getting out multiple postcards that are interactive, that they're seeing that you're a real human. They're not seeing a 1990s glamour shot. They're seeing the actual you speaking, right? Up to date in HD, so they can relate to you, right? They can be person to person with you. So
and I just thank you so much for all your help with my coaching clients on walking us through how to do that kind of geographic farming ad set, for some of this video content at the basic level. That was really helpful. And a lot of my clients are doing that kind of this basic, like do a simple housing market video and then run it as an in-stream skippable ad.
Yep.
But can you talk to, because I have a lot of my coaching clients right now, Nick, who, I've been telling them to call you to get connected with you, because there's multiple ways that this could happen, right? If we're going to try and target homeowners in a geographic territory to elicit a response or to support our geographic farm efforts or to support our prospecting efforts, right? We can do the skippable in-stream, but there's other ways that we can do that, right? That you could support these guys with increasing their exposure to not only, display, but also with video to amplify their geographic farm, their direct response, their prospecting efforts, to increase that brand awareness to be more acceptable to, take them up on their offers. What are some of the ways that you're kind of helping people, to get more exposure inside of these geographic territories, whether or not it's, like YouTube or online in general?
Yeah, well, one of them's offline now. QR codes. Everybody's like 70-year-olds know how to use QR codes now because of what happened.
I love it.
Yeah. So putting that QR code in there to see if there's really a value to mailings, and there is a value in mailings. It's top of mind if you're cooking that into your system, and then when you're doing your prospecting in your geographic area, it's just making sure again you're showing up. A thing that we do with a couple of clients is when you're doing those display ads, if they're doing billboards, it's identical. So it's familiarity. Like I saw that billboard driving down on Highway 20, and all of a sudden I see it on ESPN.com. I see it on my local newspaper website. So if I'm doing that, it's that familiarity and making everything integrate together. But then also,
and display is like really low cost, right?
Yeah. You can get in front of, and this might ruffle feathers, but as you know, I don't really care. Display ads, you should only really pay about $1 per 1,000 impressions. There are some large solutions out there in the real estate industry and in the digital marketing industry that will do display ads for you, and they give you a one-rate fee, and it's a great fee. It's $8 per 1,000 impressions. So we typically hit around 50 to 60 cents per 1,000 impressions. So getting that from $8 down to 50 cents, it's just one of those things that we have inside that the omnipresence package that we're doing. But we've had a couple clients that have come to us and said, well, we're doing this and this. You can also go and sort of tell Google, hey, I really want to show up on these specific websites. So these are sites that I want to be on. This is something that I want to be in front of. If they're offering display ads, we can put that in the preferred channels list and so kind of give it a boost and say, we're willing to pay $1.50, where usually we're paying 50 cents, but that's important to the client to get onto those specific sites. So that kind of stuff is extremely important. You can do the same thing with people going and looking on, you're saying, hey, I want to be on YouTube. We don't typically do it. What we do is we chase around people with high intent on YouTube. So you could be going and looking at, how to hit a cross shot or a line shot for volleyball, right? You're looking at volleyball videos for your kids, right? And we could show up as a video as an ad before that, because that person's also looking at potentially moving. It's relevant in the sense that, hey, we're going to show you this video real quick, and then you can go on your merry way, but we're going to get our brand out there, we're going to get our logo, and we're going to get our face out there. So going and chasing high intent people. And you could take it one step further and say, I want to be in front of people that might not have been to my site. Maybe they've been to a competitor site. Maybe they've been to a large aggregator site on the internet that everybody knows about. If they've been on that, we can do what's called traffic hijacking and just follow them around. Say, well, you might not know who I am, but I'm going to let you know who I am, right? And then show that to that farm. So if they start to see you, if you're having events, it's a great thing too. Like we've got one of our clients that does 4 events a year, customer appreciation, and he does a video that you push out into YouTube. Say, hey, you might be wondering what's going on at the museum this week, and you see some stuff. That's us. That's what we do for our clients. We'd love to have you as a client. If you'd like, we've got a couple of free passes for people that aren't clients that are potentially looking at buying or selling a home, and they've got kids that want to come see the new exhibits at the museum. So even doing things like that we coordinate in with the clients, getting those up and hitting those at specific times. That's the kind of stuff that really moves the needle for people in their market. It's kind of saying, hey, we'd love to have you come over. We'd love to work with you.
I think, what I'm hearing, Nick, is that, if someone out there is working with just a pay-per-click manager who just, hey, give me $1,000 and I'll get you 100 leads, and that's all that the service is, that is very baseline, right? Mm-hmm. Working with you guys at Driven Leads, it's really about building a longer term relationship with you guys, testing a bunch of these different assumptions, trying out some different budget strategies, working on, the foundational stuff, like the basic pay-per-click stuff, but adding in the omnipresent, some of the retargeting of the existing, leads they have, the cold leads and old leads in their databases. So, what I'm listening to, it's like, man, integrating with video and adding video into the mix and doing some YouTube stuff. It's like, you guys are more of like a full service, like, paid agency that people really need to, take into consideration all their options. So my friends out there, don't call Nick's team and say, hey, give me 100 leads. Call Nick's team and say, I'd like to establish a long-term relationship with you guys to figure out how to increase my conversion rates, get some online paid acquisition, and start building an asset that is going to make me a lot of money into the future. And I think that's the big problem right now is too many agents are like, get me some leads now. Mm-hmm. And oh my gosh, well, I got 15 and I called 10 one time and I was unsuccessful. Therefore, this system doesn't work. Guys, we're past that point. So my advanced players out there, you need to book an appointment with Driven Leads. You guys need to have a thorough conversation with them about all of your options. And let's get started. Pick the best option to get started and then keep moving forward. So Nick, it's brilliant just to, for me to try and, every time I talk to you, I learn more things and get a better understanding of how this game works and what are our options in this thing. So is there anything else that we need to talk about in terms of seller lead generation online, right? What, if I wanted to say, hey, how do I, I'll give you $1,500. Can you put me in the best position to get a listing taken? What's kind of the path with that, for me and for you with that?
Yeah, good question. So again, it used to be, well, we're just going to throw that money into Google, run what's my home worth, or how do I sell my house, or what's the value of my home, and then just hope that you get 100 leads and then you work it and here you go. Nowadays, it's spread that love or spread that wealth of that your ad spend out there, and you're generating those leads. You might not generate as many as before, but then getting in front of everybody that came to your site, everybody that jumped on. There's some really good solutions out there that'll do what's called partial leads. They'll take that address and they'll do that data enhancement or lead enhancement is what some people call it, or data enrichment. There's a bunch of fancy terms for it. The more fancy the term, the more expensive, I usually say. So but you can do that with those partial leads and start to do your mailers. You can also start to get your videos out, right? Because when people are looking for answers with that, they're not looking to list right away, more than likely, right? Or they've got a lot of questions, and a lot of questions you are probably hearing and your clients are hearing is, well, I can't sell now. I know the price has never been better for me to sell my house, but what am I going to do if I got to pay 6% or 7% for a mortgage? Well, are you paying that for 30 years? Or are you going to pay that for a couple of years until you're able to refinance? So those are the kind of videos that you need to be creating and saying, what are your biggest questions when it comes to selling a home? And honestly, you could send that out as a video email and have them choose their adventure on what their questions are. Have those answers on your YouTube channel. Again, it's that little part. It's that extra part. You still have to call. You just don't have to hammer the phones as much as you used to, right? You can do an easy text over with a link to your YouTube channel, showing them a video on, hey, I know you're thinking of possibly selling. Here's some answers to questions you might have, and there's a whole video series on it. And you can send them over that link to the series of watching 3 or 4 videos on one of those is going to be one of their big hot topic questions, right? So
I have a question that I have thought about recently is, for me, especially if I want to really focus on building a database of homeowners who kind of raise their hand with learning more about the value of their home. Is it cheaper for me if I could just get a name, address, and an email than name, address, email, phone number? Is there a higher conversion rate without the phone number?
It's always so conversion rates are always going to be dictated by how many things you ask them. So it drives me nuts when people, and it's an option on a lot of sites, but I'm going to use Sierra because Sierra is one that you and I both know, like, and trust and love. But Sierra has an option where it's a two-factor form where first one asks for your email or login via Google or Facebook, right? And then it goes to the next thing and it says name and phone number. So email first, name, phone number, and then below it you can say, are you currently working with an agent? Why would you ask that? Ask that in a conversation, right? The least amount possible. So yeah, we are getting close to that D mark where it's okay to just run with a name and email. You can do enriched data on the back end again, run that through and try to find the last known phone number for that if you want. But at the same time, you can get contact and touches with them. Was it, back when we were growing up and cutting our teeth in sales as young kids, it was 7 or 8 touches for a sale. Now they say it's like 21. I've heard the number 21 when it comes to digital, and that might have been your brother that said that, or somebody said it's up there, right? And opening a text message, reading an email, clicking on a link, those are all touches coming back to the site, right? So yeah, I think there's value in the fact that if you can get more with an email and even an email without a name, an email you can enrich that data now. Some solutions enrich that data where you can take that email and find out what their first and last name is, where they probably live, what is their potential cell phone number. All that stuff is available.
Yeah, for me, when I really think about home seller leads, I know that I can increase conversion rate on a name, email, and address only. I don't need the phone number personally because we've got really good not only follow up with YouTube videos, but we've got good newsletter strategies right now in play that are really knocking out of the park. And then we can always ask for the phone number later with one additional step after they've already experienced us. And that's more of a natural process. I was watching a video about, kind of high level influence. And they said, the more you increase friction in the sales process, the more the drop off is. Yes. So if I add a phone number, it increases friction. And we'll lose more people. And so my friends out there, we go to watch one of my other videos where I talk about the different YouTube video types. I'm going to put together a video pretty soon here about the 10 different video type topics that we could be covering to cover more of a variety that I think we could use very powerfully. If we just had a name and an email, I'm pretty sure we would dramatically increase our conversion rates, then throw it so I can get more leads at lower cost. I can build my database bigger at a low cost without an ISA, do a great job with email and video branding, and then throw in all that remarketing with you, which also is a lower cost as well, way lower than an ISA, way less annoying than 10 days of pain. And we could probably build the sucker up and increase the conversion rates through the roof, right? With higher quality yeses to talk to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I was even, suggesting to one of my clients the other day is, hey, let's just put together a simple little kind of LP mama script survey. And let's just say, hey guys, if you ever want us to help you and you want to go into more depth, and if we could support you with some more, whatever, just click the link there and then just, fill out the survey. And man, we can take a name and an email on a save search or on, some type of home bot type of experience following the value of your home, and then just keep promoting that when they're ready, they just fill out the survey, just fill out the simple form.
Yeah.
And then at the bottom of the form, we can have a calendar link. And so we could be, kind of nurturing a massive database and then, and just telling them to fill out the form, and they can fill the form out. And next thing you know, we have a very high quality experience with a cold lead. And we could probably increase the conversion rate and make it a better experience for the consumer. So they're not getting 50,000 calls, from your ISAs in the Philippines that are annoying and, awkward. And they're not getting 400 texts from you guys when they're not really ready. They were just early in the stage, but they're actually getting educated. And when they opted in, that they're actually getting what they asked for, which is just more information and more resources from us. So anyways, Nick, any final words? We obviously need, I'm going to put a link down below to drivenleads.com. They just need to book an appointment with your team and get this conversation started with Nick and his team about, all of the options, and then, really start that relationship. I think your guys' cost basis is one of the best in the industry for the highest quality. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I respect what you guys are always doing as well.
Yeah.
Any final words for the audience?
I'll leave you with this. This is something we're going to be testing personally. We've never done marketing on our own, marketing spend and such. But I think we're pretty close in the industry to having some people test this out. We are going to start to run marketing and do it inside Facebook, inside YouTube, Instagram, and we're going to just say, hey, click here to download this or this. We do a marketing packet every year, 2023 marketing packet. Click this to get this PDF. Not ask for an email, not ask for a name, not ask for anything, because we're going to remarket the hell out of you. We're going to omnipresence the heck out of you and show our chops and saying, hey, we're the best at what we do in this. This is why we're doing that. I think there's some real estate companies, some agents and brokers that I know that are getting pretty close to that they've got a giant organic following and they don't want to do forced registration. Don't. But you should be doing that omnipresence, right? Showing them why they should be using you instead of them coming to your site by accident once and then not being able to find it again. Lead them back to the path of greatness, right? Lead them back to you. So, when we have people that say, I get a ton of organic traffic, I always say, perfect. You get to advance past doing that PPC to start. We can just start doing, that omnipresence right away.
That's right.
So yeah, I think we're close to that in the industry.
I think so too. And I'm very excited about that. That has been my goal is more organic, and then add to that with the pay-per-click and add to that with the retargeting through the quality educational content, some guides, some downloads, some YouTube videos, some, social, YouTube videos, Facebook videos and, Reels and all these things that we can do to retarget people, and with quality educational content, people will choose to work with you. They'll choose to give you a phone number. They'll by choice. And then that'll increase the quality of the experience for everybody. So Nick, super excited that you're helping people out with this. And, I'll just have people, book an appointment with the team and do schedule a consultation with your group, right?
Sounds great, man.
Awesome.
All right,
Rock and roll. Thank you so much. We'll catch up soon.
Sounds good. See ya.